Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is a podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
Alissa, you know when you're staying in a hotel and it's bedtime and you're laying there and you're about to drift off to sleep and you get the feeling that someone or something is watching you. And so you open your eyes, you flutter your eyes open, and you see the shadow of a human form standing at the end of your bed. And it's Grandma. And she says, "Do you know how many germs are on that pillowcase? And did you bring an extra change of underwear? I know you didn't brush your teeth before bed, Missy." Yep. Grandma.
I thought she was going to say, happy 100th episode, SkeleTales.
That's right. It's our 100th episode. We have been doing this for about 2 years now. It's kind of an anniversary of sorts, too. 2 years recording on SkeleTales. That's over 400 spooky stories that we've told.
Wow, you did some math for that one.
I mean, average. 500.
You would think that we would be better at this by now. At least the setup. My God, we knew we would have technical difficulties, but we got a little caught up with the doorman downstairs, and so
we did. We'll get back with that in a minute.
There's good reason why we were a little late.
Good reason for sure. Okay, so before we get started, I need to set the mood a little bit. I brought a few goodies.
You have some surprises. I don't know what we're doing.
Surprise number one for any haunted hotel. I brought some mood lighting for us. So I brought a candelabra for us, which won't even be visible on a recording, but everyone knows it's there. Okay, thing number two, a skull. You know, SkeleTales. You got to have a skull. I'll set that on your side.
Thank you.
Okay, and very important, I brought some skeleton arms holding champagne flutes. But you know, a champagne flute's no good without champagne. So let's pop this sucker open.
Woo! Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Okay. First of all, kudos, shout out to Katie Knitzels.
I'm pretty sure.
And Becca McGuire, who bought us wine for tonight's celebration. So thank you, ladies.
Cheers.
No, we're not cheersing yet.
Oh, well.
Okay, so a while back we talked about irrational fears that we have. I have a huge fear of opening champagne. So can you do this for us, please?
I just heard a statistic recently that more people die opening champagne bottles than like being eaten by sharks.
This is not helping my fear factor. Don't do it. Don't do it at me.
Why do you think I know how to do this better?
Yay! Celebrate good times. Come on. Ooh, Katie knows how to pick a good champagne. That's wonderful.
It's like a beaker. Can you see this? These are really cute. And it's like creepy holding like a weird little skeleton arm.
It's so good. Alissa, do we just talk about ghosts haunting hotels?
Yeah, actually we do. But we also tell true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
That's right. Okay, so tonight though, we will be talking about the haunted hotel that we are currently residing in. We are staying at the Hotel Andra in room 9. Just kidding.
Oh.
Alissa is so paranoid that somebody's going to come here.
Well, Britt's a big fan of the true crime genre, and she's like broadcasting where we'll be, what floor we'll be on, when we'll be live.
I know. At exactly this time, we will be in the room.
I know.
But we are on the 9th floor, which is the supposedly haunted floor. What else is there? So I think before we dive into the spooky shit, I think we should give a little history about the Hotel Andra.
Okay. Well, we're in Seattle for one.
Yes,
yeah.
That's important to know, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not know in case you're going to murder us, then we're in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's right. Hotel Andra, Cincinnati, Ohio. Go there.
Okay, so I'm going to, I researched a little bit about the history of this haunted hotel to sort of set the mood. of what's to come with these hauntings. Okay, so this building was built in 1926 as the Claremont Hotel and Apartments, an upscale hotel where Seattle's well-to-do upper class mingled with the gangsters and rum runners of the 1920s and 30s. The 9th floor was actually residential high-end apartments, which you can totally tell in this swanky suite that we were upgraded to. That was my doing. Our upgrade.
It was.
I did.
I was like, we'll just pretend we're on the 9th floor.
And I was like, no, I was promised the 9th floor. I was wearing my Haunt Ya Later shirt, Haunt Ya Later. And I was like, we have to be here for the hauntings, y'all. So they upgraded us. Anyways, during the night, I was talking about the 9th floor. So jazz parties and gatherings were common during this time. Residents would spend their nights playing music and dancing. They also happily ignored prohibition as they got drunk. Hey! And the rum runners brewed liquor in the Seattle underground for these parties.
Oh, really?
Yeah, details.
Huh. I didn't know that. I've been to the Seattle underground.
I mean, I didn't fact check, but I'm assuming.
It'd be if I were to make bathtub gin, it would be in the Seattle underground for sure. Run some rum.
Yeah, run some rum right up to our room.
That's
boom.
Nice to do it.
So in the 1940s, during World War II, the hotel became a transfer station for the Women's Army Corps, where women were trained in non-combat roles, such as switchboards, working in mechanics, and polishing weaponry. Oh. And then in the 1960s, a female employee mysteriously fell to her death while working on the upper floors. Nobody seems to know what led up to her fall. Some say it was a freak accident, while others say it was suicide. There was no records of the woman's death, nor were there any word of possible troubles that could have caused her to purportedly jump. Her death is an unsolved mystery to this day. Now, the Claremont, now known as the Andra, has changed ownership many times and been renovated to update with the times and be upscale throughout the years. In 2004, the hotel changed names to Hotel Andra and did an extensive renovation, changing the style to more of a Scandinavian look. The Andra is a luxury hotel complete with 2 restaurants, a gym, yoga, and a complimentary shoe shining service. Whoa!
There's a shoe shining service here?
We have, okay, good to know. I got to talk about that. Okay, do you have any additional information to add about the history?
I do. I do, actually. So that mysterious death that occurred of the employee who plummeted, how many floors did it say?
6.
6 floors. So I was trying to figure out who the heck is haunting this darn hotel? Who could possibly be haunting it? Maybe it's this woman. So in my research, I found that the death of Doris Stinton, 44, a blind woman who fell 6 stories from her room at the Claremont Hotel in 1967, has been classified as a suicide. So that seems a little suspicious to me. Does that not seem a little suspicious to everybody else?
I didn't know she was blind.
She's a blind woman, fell to her death. And then it was, declared a suicide. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Are you tired of the same old boring podcasts? Then you need to check out Point of No Response.
Wait, what's that?
It's a comedy podcast that explores things like accidents in life.
So I'm like speed walking, just finally get to the bathroom. Before I make it to the stalls, everything just releases.
And the oddities of human nature.
That's disgusting. What website is this?
That sounds hilarious. Where can I listen to it?
You can listen to it on all major podcast platforms. Just search for Point of No Response Podcast or find us on YouTube by searching Point of No Response Studios. Point of No Response. When life is dumb, we get stupid.
Fishy.
If
She's for sure haunting the place. I'd be so pissed if they said, first of all, if it was an accident, and then they said it wasn't an accident. Yes, I'd be haunting.
furious. But she was only 44. So, have we talked about any of that apparitions?
No, we've not talked about any hauntings. We haven't.
Should I go a little further into possible suspects of who could be haunting the sordid history?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Set the groundwork.
Okay. So also, this hotel has been held up like Old Western style holdups several times throughout the history. The first one I found was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like save this. After like the 8th or 9th, I was like, oh, this is a thing. Like this place was targeted. It's always been fairly up class, but my favorite one, and I'll just read a little bit of what I found from the Seattle Star on May 25th, 1937. The headline is "Escaped BC Convict Shot," and he was nabbed after the holdup. And it starts out and says, "Well, I didn't get much money, but I gave them a damn good scare." And it goes on to say how Robert Chemo was chased through the streets of Seattle, and there was a shootout, and he got shot a whole bunch of times, and they didn't expect him to make it through the night. But then he did. But then he later died.
But like, they had to get the quote from him. So
yeah, so he like lived enough to like give the quote
and then died.
Probably shot him again in the hospital room. That's all we needed.
What they did back in the 30s.
Yeah. And then this one might be my favorite so far. So again, this is from the Seattle Star, and this one is from February 28th, 1924. And it's titled "Man Dies of Heart Trouble After a Car Runs into Another." And it says 5 minutes after he had a minor automobile accident at Avenue W and Wheeler Street, William Decker, 66, janitor, slumped to the curb and died yesterday, apparently of heart failure. Mrs. Frances L. Thornton of the Claremont Hotel reported to police that Decker had struck her car to avoid hitting Mrs. W.C. Shanahan, a passenger, alighting from a streetcar. So no one was injured in the accident, but shortly after the drivers had examined their cars, Decker fell to the street. He was dead before a city ambulance summoned by traffic officer Kramer arrived. His wife, who was with him, said he had been suffering from heart attacks for 7 years.
How many heart attacks? Oh my God.
And then he died. That was the gist of it.
Oh, he died. Let me just clarify the scene real quick. Okay. So the Callahan is the fella who had a heart attack, right?
Sure.
Some pedestrian gets off the trolley. He's about to hit them and he's like, oh shit. So he swerves. He hits someone from the Claremont's cars, avoiding, and they get out and they're like, fender bender, whatever. And then he dies in the street.
Yes. He dies in the street, and his wife's like, don't worry. He does this all the time. He's been having heart attacks for 7 years. Totally normal, apparently.
I guarantee she was sitting in the car and she watched him slump over and was like, he does this all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like I told him, why was he driving? If you're having so many
heart attacks issues on the regular,
how do you have heart? I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Well, when did you say this took place?
1937.
37 women weren't allowed to drive.
Oh, 34. Is that true?
I don't know. I just made that up.
You come here for the facts. That's
right. Facts.
Tunes into SkeleTales.
So we've got some suspects for some hauntings. Well, upon research too, I've been told, because this was a high-end place, a lot of deaths occurred that were kind of kept hush-hush, not announced in newspapers, and kept on the DL because they didn't want it to taint the name of Claremont/Andra. Okay. Everybody's on pins and needles about the hauntings now. That's the juicy part, right?
Yeah. Can I say one more thing about the fact that all the hauntings, the cover-ups and stuff, what made this place unique, I think, is that people actually lived here. It wasn't just a place where people stopped and moved on through. They lived here. They died here. A lot of obituaries referenced Hotel Claremont as their place of residence.
We're going on almost 200 years. No, 100 years.
Yeah, about 100. A little less than 100.
It's almost 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of life to have been lived here.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay, so the the things that we've been told about the hotel hauntings is that most activity seems to take place on the ninth floor, as I've mentioned. Hotel guests who stay on the ninth floor say that the party is still raging to this day. Oftentimes, guests will hear noisy chatter, loud laughter, and glass breaking. The sounds of a raging party. I mean, perfect for tonight, right? Some guests have been lucky enough to see apparitions. Oh, I skipped some. Raging party. Yes. No, I didn't skip anything. Edit that out, Alyssa.
I can't. It's live.
Some guests have been lucky enough to see apparitions and silhouettes of people dancing and engaging in conversation. The sounds of a jazz piano can be heard echoing through the halls at night. The strange part is there's no piano on the ninth floor. Guests who've tried to find a source for the music or the loud noises are left confused. There seems to be no point of origin for the sound, almost as if it's coming from another dimension. There's talk of a 1920s flapper girl roaming the halls of the ninth floor. Have you heard that one yet?
No.
Oh, yeah. Get ready. The one I'm most terrified about is the woman who appears to be dressed from the 1930s, who usually appears at the foot of the bed as guests are about to fall asleep.
I call the couch.
She's standing still and quietly staring into space. Other guests claim to have seen the woman around the common areas of the hotel. Just like in guest rooms, she stands completely still as she stares off into the distance. The ghost of another woman has been seen inside the guest rooms. She appears randomly, then walks around the rooms aimlessly before vanishing. At least one couple reported her appearance to the hotel staff, though she's sure to have appeared on several occasions. It's believed that she may be the ghost of the female worker who fell to her death in the 60s. You know what? That actually makes sense now that I know that she's blind, wandering aimlessly in and out of rooms. Although I don't know if you stay blind when you're dead.
I don't know. I didn't put that together. So she's just wandering around because she's blind? That's why? Not because she's like...
Okay, listen. If she's a residual spirit and it's like this is, perhaps she doesn't know where the door is or the end of the bed or places to haunt. She's doing what she normally did.
Just looking for glasses.
She's looking for... the balcony so she won't fall off it again.
I know. That must have
so
been
bad.
Yeah. The 1920s flapper? That one is news to me.
I kind of want to see her. We plan to roam the hallways, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Guests have also reported objects levitating and disappearing. This happens most often in the lobby. We were just there. A front desk employee claims that a paperweight levitated right in front of her, then slammed back down on the glass countertop. Others have had their personal belongings levitate as well. And sometimes it seems like someone moved their things or shuffled them around.
Is that what our bellboy was just waiting for our stuff to levitate
levitate up to our room?
It didn't work.
It took a while.
Britt went and got it.
I had to get it. All right. So yeah, that upon researching, those are the haunts that I came across. But we had some pretty strange things happen also, right?
We did already. So should I start with the bellboy or?
Yeah, you should.
Okay. So the 1920s flapper girl intrigued me because I knew there was like an older woman, the one that appears at the end of the bed, who's scary, but I didn't know there's like a young 20s flapper girl that was walking around. But I'm pretty sure the bellboy has a crush on her. Actually, we're positive. We checked in and they're like, the guy you want to talk to is out there. He's the valet bellboy. And he's like really into it. He really wants to find a ghost. And so we're like, oh, we hear you want to find the ghost. He's like, yeah, I hope she's hot. I really want to date this ghost. He was dead serious. He's like, everyone's giving me hell for it, but I think she's hot. Her name's Andra is what he said. But He's never seen an apparition, but he has experienced things. And he said that many people have heard the sounds of the jazz music, and that when he comes into rooms, he's come into rooms and had the door slam shut behind him. He's like, even though there's like a doorstop and everything, we walk in and the door slams behind me on the 9th floor only. It only happens on the 9th floor. Also, they'll come into the room and then they feel like someone follows them in right after. And I mean, these guys are the ones going to and from the room. So they wouldn't know all day.
Yeah.
They're like on the 9th floor. They feel like someone comes in after them. And then when they get off of the elevator, only on the 9th floor, the door, it won't close. It will keep resetting like someone is standing in the doorway, and they have to like eventually just wait it out, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, they'll was he either getting on or getting off the elevator, and it was to leave the 9th floor, and he was pressing the door close, and it was doing the jumpy thing like somebody was standing in the way of the door.
Yeah, someone didn't want him to leave. She might want to date him too.
I know, and she's like, "Hey, bro, I'm ready.
Yeah,
don't leave.
She's like,
do you remember him talking about how the doors would open on their own as well? He said that too. He said they would close on their own, and this happened to several of the valets.
Well, even us, we were. It's closed now, but we were like, wait, was the door ajar? Because we both.
Well, we were both waiting for our luggage, so we're like standing in the living room, like twiddling our thumbs, being like, "We have to go on in an hour," and then we look over, and the doors, like it's closed, but it hasn't latched. The latch was open. I thought that was pretty freaky, but not as freaky as what you had happen.
Okay, so famously, right, we've established lots of jazz music happening on this floor. And I said, well, I hate jazz music. And as soon as I said that, the light back here, I don't know if you can see it, it's behind Britt. It flickered. Like literally, I've never seen a ghost, nothing, but I said, I hate jazz music, which I kind of do, guys. Sorry. But, and I've said it on the podcast before. 20s era is better than some. But, I was a little bit like, just trying to establish ourselves in the room, be like, okay, well, let's, maybe we'll rile them up, and I'll make that statement. As soon as that was what I was thinking. And as soon as I said it, it flickered. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe we should put on some jazz music, right?
Yeah, we did.
And I said, I don't know, what song? Like, what is 1920s? And I was like, is it like ragtime? It's not. But at the time, I didn't know this. And so then I said, maybe the Maple Leaf Rag. And as soon as I said Maple Leaf Rag, the light flickered again. Where I was seated was not looking into the room behind me. So I have not actually witnessed the light flicker at all. It's only appearing to Alissa. I've seen it.
But you got straight up goosebumps.
I did after, because I think I said something about the Maple Leaf Rag, or you started playing it and it went again. It flickered. It's been and so then I was like, okay, well, there's a short in this light. And so I went over and I like shook the light and touched the light, expecting it to like quiver and flicker. No, it didn't. It's very solid. It's very solid.
I've not seen any lights really act up since we've been here. And even though this is an old hotel, it's very updated. It doesn't have a musty smell. It's very clean. It's a nice new lamp. It's not like an old janky.
No. But even
falling apart.
The moment I walked in, I kind of started declaring I hate jazz music, just because am I trying to make them mad? And then I was like, wait, do I really want mad ghosts? That's why you're sleeping in the bed and you can deal with her when she shows up. In the night.
Boy. I need some more champagne for that encounter. Here we go. Okay, so I was just curious about staying in a haunted hotel. Okay. So I found an article written by the Washington Post that says, checking into a haunted hotel, here's how to make the most of it. So some tips and tricks about staying in a haunted hotel. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just created some bullet points for us.
I sure hope.
Essentially, the author, Liz, interviewed a lot of paranormal investigators who've stayed in many, many hotels, and this is really their advice as experts.
Okay.
Okay.
Piss them off.
When talking to your hotel ghost, be respectful. Just because they're dead doesn't mean that they don't have feelings too.
Rebuttals. Jazz is just terrible.
I will say when that lamp,
I was looking for a discussion.
The lamp flickered. Alyssa went and stood by the lamp and starts talking to.
I literally have taken to talking to the lamp. That's who I'm talking to now. I said by the end of the night, I'm just going to be doing a podcast with the lamp. Just get Britt out of here.
Holding it.
It'll just be me and the lamp.
Me and Lamp. The new podcast. Okay. Most ghosts are mischievous or pleasant, not harmful. So no need to be scared, Alyssa.
Oh, okay.
I know you were.
I'm always scared. I talk a big game, but then the lights go off and it's nighttime, and then I'm like, I'm sorry, I love Jazz.
Alyssa will be spooning me in the king size bed by the end.
I will. It'll be like, Jazz is the best. I love it so much.
I love you. I was
it's
wrong.
So good.
Okay.
Can I stop and say how long it actually took us to find like 1920s era jazz? We have no knowledge apparently.
That's the real reason why we're late, people.
Yeah, the Maple Leaf Rag was written in 1899, not at all the 1920s. Then the Charleston, we were trying to do the Charleston. And
then I was like, looked up a station for Roaring 20s and like Imagine Dragons. And I'm like, this is not the 20s. Oh shit, we're in the 20s right now.
Yeah, it was the 2020s. So
not wrong 2020s.
Okay, but they shouldn't be mad. They're just going to want to educate us.
You know, we're just going to have notes posted to our face in the morning to be like, that's ragtime. That's not the jazz.
I hope I wake up with jazz music. I mean, I hate that. That would be the worst. But I also hope I do wake up with jazz music playing.
We've made a pact, Alyssa and I've made a pact that if we hear the music in the middle of the night, we are to wake the other person up. Or, I mean, if you see a shadow, if there's someone staring at you from the corner, please wake me up. Scream me awake.
I will. I'll scat you awake. I'll shibbity boop bop boop boop ghost shibbity boop tap tap tap.
Hot tip number 3.
Okay. Moving on.
Cleaning, maintenance, and security staff can be the best source for unusual happenings. Valet.
It's exactly what I
Addendum.
said. Despite wanting to fall in love with a ghost, he was very normal and very handsome. He'd be a catch, actually, for the ghost if she was interested. Yeah,
if he could just like
very chill,
keep that elevator open and be like, "Hey, Andra, what up, babe? Hey, what's up?" Okay, here we go. Bring gear. Some suggested items are electromagnetic field EMF readers, a compass, which we tried to find. Could not find. Turns out we're not great scouts. Motion censored lights. Does a ring light count? Don't think so. A dog was recommended, like a pet. Pets are very sensitive to the paranormal, the supernatural. So bring a pet. A pendulum and a pension necklace will work instead of a pendulum. Oh. And Ouija boards are not recommended because they said most people don't know how to use a Ouija board safely. So just leave that shit at home.
We know how to use it so safely now.
I'm scared.
We've like gotten lessons repeatedly. Although I think I did mention that everyone over at that the old mill.
Oh, did we update? Didn't
we tell you that people at the old mill were all upset because
we stirred something up?
Yeah, they're like, it wasn't the same. Yeah, it was.
A lot of activity happened there.
They saw a reflection in the window afterwards. They were like real creeped out. So maybe we don't know what we're doing. But we would leave it here.
The Ouija board?
We would make
the portal.
No, the hotel. Yeah, the ghost. We'd leave it here. We'd
maybe,
open the portal.
What if it attaches to my Ouija board?
Or leave it. Are we coming back here? We're gonna give the valet his opportunity.
Oh, to communicate with his sexy lady?
Yeah.
Too late. I left it. Sorry. But guess what I did bring? I brought the pendulum that I found in the forest. So I thought maybe it's not a Ouija board.
You literally did find this pendulum in the forest.
I did, in the forest behind my house.
That's so bizarre. How many here? Has anyone else found a pendulum walking around ever?
No.
And you're scared of using a
Well, I rinsed it in tap water, so it should be clean,
that's
clean,
solid.
right?
Yeah,
I can
we did
clean
that
it again.
No, we went through it.
I can dip it in my champagne.
Don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Make it sticky.
Okay, but let's think of some things to ask. If there is a spirit around, you can consult your lamp if you want to. Do we have some questions?
I mean, did you want to ask if there's a spirit around? Is that the first thing you ask?
Okay. Do you remember how I hold it? Like this? Not the other way, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to try to hold it where you guys can see it too.
Well, what if it says no? Because then that will just put the whole kibosh on this whole thing. Maybe we shouldn't ask.
Okay, so if I'm correct, yes is when it swings, and no is when it stays still. That's
It's yours. Remember, you have to
Okay,
know.
well, I'm telling everybody.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
it is. Okay. I feel nervous. Okay. I'm going to take just some deep breaths. Hold on. Cleansing breath. Okay. I'm not scared. Okay, here we go. All right. I've got a device here. Ghosts. Are there any ghosts here in this room, this hotel room that also used to be an apartment? Oh, I didn't account for the fact that it says no.
But maybe they don't know if they're ghosts.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Do you like jazz music? It's still not doing anything. I think I should have washed it first.
Do you want to wash it?
Should I wash it? Is everyone okay with time for me to go wash it?
We're having technical difficulties with everything from
pendulums
to microphones.
All right, I'm going to go wash it. I'm going to go cleanse it.
All right, I'm going to tell you all a little bit more about Belltown. That's where we are. So Belltown is a district of Seattle. The homesteader, his last name was Bell. Okay, so he lived here, then he moved away, and then he came back, but he ended up getting dementia and died rather tragically of dementia. And then same thing with his son. So already the lore of this area is a little haunted. But Seattle, where we are, they did something called the Denny regrade. So at one point, it was in the 20s, right before this hotel opened, they literally just flattened a mountain. They thought it was going to be open it up to more industry and make the streets flat and in line and parallel. And that didn't really work. It was this, you can look up pictures. There's mountains, and a bunch of people didn't want to leave. They just ended up digging into underneath their houses, and you can see pictures of their houses just teetering on the top of these dirt mountains. But they said that if they had not done the Denny regrade, Seattle would look much more like San Francisco. So there you go. That's not really a haunted fact, but a little interesting dirt I dug up.
Okay. Pendulum's been cleansed. And as I was cleaning it, I remembered, when we researched about how to do it, that it said it could take a minute or two. I mean, not that we've got a ton of time, but we'll give it another go.
Should we ask it some basic questions to get it going?
Okay, like what?
Show us yes.
Oh,
Show us
okay.
no.
Pendulum. I know it's not really necessarily a spirit. It can sometimes just be from the energy in the air or something.
It might
right?
have stage fright. It looks like it's scared.
It does. It's kind of, I think that's my arm shaking because I'm not very strong.
You're tired. Pendulum.
Oh, hold on. It's moving because I'm laughing. Okay. Focus, Brett. Pendulum. Do you like being in this room with us? Oh, it really does have the stage fright. Alissa saw it when I did it before, and it was swinging heavily. Okay.
Pendulum. Oh, wait. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Hell yeah. Go for it.
Is jazz music, does no mean, is it doing no now or yes, or do we know?
Well, when I did it before, swinging was yes.
I'm trying to get it agrees with me.
We'll just say swinging is yes. Otherwise, all the answers will be yes because it really isn't moving much. Yes, there's ghosts. Yes,
that's I was going to state it. So yeah, is jazz music the worst?
Oh, here it says no. Jazz music isn't the worst.
Oh, darn it.
Okay, well,
I think this is
it's kind of a bust. Sorry, y'all.
Freaking.
Maybe we'll try it again when the lights all the way down. We do tend to have better
That's
activity.
True. Oh, that's what the valet said as well. That it usually starts happening when it gets dark. All the activity, but we saw it broad daylight, with the light going. So I don't know.
I mean, we should be glad that there's not a spirit in the room, right? We should be happy about this. You want to be haunted?
I've told that from the very get-go. I want to see a ghost. What better time to see my first ghost than the 100th episode?
I know, that's a good point. Good point. Okay, Maya's getting tired.
Okay.
Okay. The last tip though is they said the best equipment you can bring, cell phone. They said you've got your camera on there. You've got your you could recording devices, and they even talked about some of those like haunted apps that you can download on your phone. Although when we interviewed Monica, the ghost guide in Austin, she basically was like, "They're a joke, not worth it. Don't do it."
I've heard similar things.
Do you want to sneak in one more ghost story before we give a shout?
Yeah. Wait,
you talked about a Pike Market one.
Oh, I know, but we edit usually, so this happens. You don't hear all this chit chat. What about the one that you wrote down in the thing?
I think your Pike Market one will be better. This is just someone saw something in a balcony. That's not that exciting.
I feel unprepared.
Oh, do you? If you don't have it,
so okay, we are trying really hard.
We can have listener input here.
Yeah. So when we were looking, because we think this place is fancy and they've covered up a lot of the ghost stories, it was hard to find really flushed out good first person stories. Like there was one story from Yelp that was like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard voices and I couldn't find where the voices were. But everywhere that there was a listing for that, it was like people were trying to squash the reputation. No, it's definitely like, no, it's not haunted.
They want to
like,
keep it high end.
Yeah. They don't want it to have the rep
all
of a haunted, but they need to tell their valet about that then. He didn't get the memo. But yeah, so Pike's Place Market famously is apparently super haunted. We couldn't stay there.
But it's very close to the hotel. It feels appropriate that we could share a nearby haunting, right?
Yeah. I mean, so does anyone want to know?
Does anybody want to hear a Pike Place Market haunting?
Or do you just want to share?
I see one thumbs up. All right, nods, thumbs up. Okay, everyone wants to hear it.
Okay. I didn't rewrite it, so I'll give credit. This is from Legends of America, and it's the history and haunting of Pike's. Look, I'm so extra. Britt brings a little cell phone. I've got like the biggest cell phone ever here to read off of, and there's no. Can I put it right there so I can look at it?
Totally.
Okay, because we have a very small table, and I mean the candelabra is necessary.
The skull.
Okay, so it's the history and haunting of Pike Place Market, Seattle, Washington, and the Pike. Off to a great start. The Pike Place Market in Seattle, Washington is not only a great place to shop, but is allegedly also the most haunted place in Seattle, if not all of Washington state. The Pike Place Market has a long history, created in 1907. It all began with when rumors of, okay, wait a minute. That's not very exciting. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get, it was, it was great. They were going to tear it down. They saved it. Okay. The Great Depression. It was popular then. Okay. The haunting. Let's get to the meat of it. Okay. Speaking of souls, they mentioned that somewhere. The market is apparently home to more than just its many vendors and historic flavor, but is said to continue to host several restless spirits. One of the market's most famous and popular visitors is Princess Angeline, the eldest daughter of Chief Seattle. Her Duwamish name was Kiki So Blue, but the early settlers of Seattle dubbed her Princess. Though the 1855 Treaty of Point Elliott required that all Duwamish Indians were to leave their lands for reservations, Princess Angeline ignored the order and remained in the city. Living in a waterfront cabin on Western Avenue between Pike and Pine Streets, many considered her to be the link that connected the Native Americans of the area with the new settlers of the city. Angeline made her living taking in laundry and selling hand-woven baskets on the downtown streets of Seattle, becoming a familiar figure. The bent and wrinkled old woman, most often seen with a red handkerchief over her head, a shawl around her shoulders, and strolling with the aid of a cane, became a familiar sight along the waterfront. During this time, a young photographer named Edward Curtis became intrigued by her and often took pictures of her. At the age of 85, Princess Angeline died on May 31st, 1896, and Seattle residents gave her a fine funeral and burial. But Angeline was apparently not ready to leave, as she has been spied at the Pike Market for decades. The market, built upon the site of her former cabin, is said to remain the home of her restless spirit. Over the years, many people have reported seeing her, believing that she is a real person, until she suddenly disappears right before their eyes. Just like the real Angeline, this spirit is said to move very slowly, as if her feet barely touch the ground. Others have reported that the figure sometimes changes colors from a glowing white shadow to lavender, blue, and pink. Sometimes she has been spied with a young Native American boy. Allegedly, she is most often sighted near a rough wooden column in the center of the lower level. Several have reported the column is seemingly surrounded by cold air and that photographs have displayed abnormalities. Others have seen her near the old Goodwill store. And though a Native American shaman has made several exorcism attempts, Angeline continues to roam the market.
Ooh. Are we going to go to Pike Place Market tomorrow?
Yeah, we can. Because
awesome.
We didn't go last time you were here, right?
No, we didn't.
It's spooky. Has anyone been there? It's pretty darn spooky, like down below. And then there's even supposedly a haunted crystal ball, or a woman trapped in a crystal ball in the magic shop in the market.
I want to go to a magic shop. Fun fact about me, I super love magic.
Oh, yeah. That's
like,
right.
A lot. Alissa, not so much.
You put it right next to the jazz. On that.
A jazzy magic shop is like your piece of hell.
Your show, like a jazz magic show. Ay, not my jam.
Kill me now, and I'm like, yeah.
But there's also a shop of oddities that I'm scared of.
Ooh.
Like that's very creepy. I've like walked in like 3 steps, saw some like shrunken head mummy thing, and I was like, nope.
Let's go.
And I turned right around.
Was there jazz music playing?
That might have been it. Maybe that was it. Maybe there was actually nothing.
Head.
It was just like the jazz. I was like, get me out of here. I ran out screaming.
I have also heard that the Pike Market is haunted, but I didn't prepare a story for that, so I'm not going to tell you it.
Yeah, there was a lot more. I'm scared to read on just because I don't know what's in store here. But I thought,
especially since we're actually going to go to it.
Yeah, and the Princess Angeline, I just thought was a kind of nice. She's like, "Fuck y'all, I'm staying."
Seeing her apparition.
I know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about how people can share ghost stories?
Oh, hey, everybody there. We're not usually talking right to you. But you can send us a story in to SkeleTalesPodcast@gmail.com. Or you can call us at the number I should know after 2 years of this.
But she doesn't. 302-689-DEAD. 302-689-3323. Like, rate, review, share with a friend. Oh, did you hear that?
No.
You didn't hear that?
No. Wait, what? What do we hear?
It said haunt y'all later.
Oh, Jesus. Every time. Haunt you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you all for coming.